On the National Weather Desk, after the storm, a community comes together following a deadly and devastating tornado.
What do you guys have left?
They don't have anything. Nothing.
As another storm pounds California, we'll take a closer look at bomb cyclones.
Our current system could meet the standard and be the second to impact California in the past week.
Should you consider flood insurance, even if you don't live in an area that's prone to flooding?
You cannot wait until the floods are starting to happen to purchase flood insurance.
What are the chances we'll see another spectacular display of the northern lights visible in so many states?
Yeah, we could see even better. I'm going to be watching the sky.
And what you need to know to catch the rare glimpse of 5 planets aligning tonight.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. We begin today in the southeast, where residents are trying to pick up the pieces after tornadoes ravaged the south over the weekend. Nowhere was harder hit than Mississippi, where at least 25 people were killed. Devastated communities face a very long road to recovery while trying to regain some sense of normalcy. Isabel Rosales spoke with residents about how they are dealing with the storm's aftermath.
Okay, you're looking at where right here where the house was sitting, and the steps were right in front of the sidewalk right there.
Devastation after violent storms ripped through the southeastern part of the U.S. over the weekend, demolishing homes and killing dozens.
Like with everything that go on, to be honest, I can't take no more. I just can't.
Joanne Winston lost her 2-year-old great niece, Aubrey, when an EF4 tornado hit Mississippi late Friday night, impacting the towns of Amory, Rolling Fork, and Silver City.
Right there.
Winston says she found Aubrey among the debris.
And I didn't see no house, no nothing. And I looked around and I seen the baby laying a little bit from her mom.
Winston's niece, Jessica Drain, also spoke to CNN. Drain says her 8-year-old son was in the same house as 2-year-old Aubrey. He is now in critical condition on a ventilator. The governor of Mississippi confirmed Sunday that President Joe Biden approved a disaster declaration for parts of the state, allowing the federal government to help.
We're going to work really closely with the governor and his team on what we can do to provide that safety and that shelter right now for individuals.
Jessica Drain hoping her family can get help.
Knowing they got to start all over, don't really, you know what I'm saying, know where their help going to come from. Know where their next meal gonna come from, or a roof over their head.
What do you guys have left?
They don't have anything, nothing.
A small community in Georgia is also cleaning up this morning following a weekend tornado. Survivors tell reporter Carla Stevens what happened when that twister touched down.
I just told my son, I said, something's not right. So we just got up and I said, run to the bathroom. So we ran to the bathroom. By that time, I can hear it. I'm talking about like trains. It's just like many trains coming at you at one time.
It was that sound from early morning severe storms that left Chastity Ingram fearing the worst.
At that moment, I kept saying, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it.
Ingram says after a while, the storm got calm and she decided to check on her son's dog, only to realize
my whole house in the back was gone.
But Ingram says even in that moment of panic and fear, she knew who to call. Her mom, and it gave her a sense of relief.
Can you tell? Safe. Safe, yes.
And now in California, another coastal storm is clobbering parts of the state. 2 to 3 feet of snow could fall in higher elevations of the Sierras between now and tomorrow night. Other regions are seeing strong winds and heavy rain, which could trigger flooding in creeks and also rivers. One major cause for all this winter weather in California, back-to-back atmospheric rivers, a term you hear a lot about right now, but the system hitting the state right now is being called by another name, a bomb cyclone. So what does that mean? Preston Donyan explains from Redding, California.
This winter has more than introduced us to the term atmospheric river, but we've also heard the ominous bomb cyclone thrown around. Our current system could meet the standard and be the second to impact California in the past week. So what does bomb cyclone even mean? To understand, I spoke with the National Weather Service in Eureka, who watches these storms closely as they develop over the ocean.
On a very technical level, a bomb cyclone is any cyclone that decreases its center of pressure by 24 millibars in 24 hours. Now, what that really just means is it's a cyclone that gets much stronger within a short period of time.
James added that the term bomb cyclone doesn't say anything about the overall strength of the storm, just its relative change. This week's winter storm is certainly strong, though, with significant winds and heavy precipitation expected. I also asked if this system was out of the ordinary for late March.
This is definitely stronger than we might often see this late in the season, but it's not super unusual. What has been unusual this season, I think, has just been the amount of strong wind. We've just seen so many strong wind systems come through, and this looks to be following that trend.
You know, it seems like the country just can't catch a break from severe weather. Let's go to meteorologist John Gum, who says another storm is set to hit another swath of the nation this week.
Well, here we are another week, and it looks like another major storm system is going to work through the nation's heartland. This one, too, may produce severe storms across portions of the Midwest and the South. Basically, from the Mississippi River Valley into the Ohio River Valley, severe weather will be possible. Snow, too, a possibility through portions of Iowa into Minnesota, Wisconsin. They could see some big totals before all is said and done. But the severe storms may bring the highest impact. Right now, across a good chunk of the nation, across the Mississippi River Valley, the Storm Prediction Center is showing a 30% chance of severe weather within 25 miles of any single point. That's running through Arkansas, portions of northern Mississippi, western Tennessee, western Kentucky, Missouri, up into Illinois, even sections of eastern Iowa as we go through the day on Friday. Surrounding that, a large area where we could see a 15% chance of severe weather within 25 miles of a single point that stretches all the way from Wisconsin and Michigan through the Ohio Valley, clear on down through Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. A lot to watch for the week ahead, and we'll keep you updated.
Snow in the Midwest isn't all bad news. Maple syrup making season is underway right now in northeast Wisconsin. The weather in March is apparently an ideal time of the year for maple syrup production in the area right here. Experts say snow helps keep the temperatures of the sap a little bit cooler, which allows for them to kind of make that sap. Because of that, many maple syrup makers actually wish they had gotten more snow during a recent winter storm. Well, Utah's record snowfall this year is fueling concerns about the change of rapid snowmelt and flooding in several parts of the state, resulting in many considering flood insurance. But whether you live in Utah or not, should this be a part of your home coverage plan? Christina Flores speaks with an insurance broker near Salt Lake City.
If Utah's mountain snow melts suddenly, sending a rush of water into lower areas and into people's homes, don't assume your standard homeowner's insurance will cover any damage. You need to purchase flood insurance separately and well in advance of any disaster.
You cannot wait until the floods are starting to happen to purchase flood insurance, because there is a waiting period anywhere from 14 days to 30 days.
MJ Martinez, owner of Platinum Insurance in Centerville, says you don't have to live in a flood zone to buy insurance, and you don't have to live in a flood zone to be at risk.
Floods caused by a natural disaster are the most common types of claims that we see. Even 1 inch of water could cause thousands of dollars in damage.
Martinez says how much a flood insurance policy will cost you depends on where you live and the level of risk.
And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we talk with a storm chaser about what it's like to track storms on the road. And the northern lights, they have been very active, very beautiful. Recently, we'll find out why. And as we head to break, let's enjoy some sights from southern Utah.
meteorologist Charlie Lopresti would look at the Northeast. Any leftover rain and snow off to the north, that's moving out of the Northeast today. Notice the back edge of that around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, primarily over southern parts of New England here. That will be exiting there as well. Look for clearing skies. Now, Wednesday is one of the nicer days this week in the Northeast. 2:30 in the afternoon, temps will be in the 40s to near 50 degrees. Then a sharp cold front moves through late Wednesday night with a round of rain and snow showers. And it's going to get colder and windy on Thursday.
I'm meteorologist Jonathan Myers, and here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region, starting off mainly dry up and down the 95 corridor. Now, as we work our way towards the afternoon, especially south, that's our best risk at getting a couple of showers as another weather maker moves in. Could even see a sprinkle almost anywhere, I think, during the afternoon as clouds begin to billow up a little bit. It's a cooler day, too, with high temperatures mid to upper 50s, Baltimore up to Philadelphia, some 60s down into central southern Virginia. That's the scene here.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs for the day. We're seeing temperatures in those mid-upper 60s, stretching from Tupelo, Birmingham up towards Raleigh. Behind this cold front that we had fire off those storms the other day, looks like that's brought those temperatures down. Front's making its way through Florida, still hot ahead of it. West Palm and Tampa, upper 80s. Looks like we'll see some spotty showers and thunderstorms possible across the southeast as we get through the evening on Tuesday for southern Georgia, Alabama, parts of Florida.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
After an outbreak of severe weather, the local National Weather Service actually sends out a team to kind of survey the damage, a team of meteorologists. Emily Gracie spoke to one of them to find out how they determine tornado strength based on damage.
We almost always start with our emergency management partners. You know, they're keyed in on the areas that were impacted the most. And then, we sometimes go as a team with emergency managers and kind of do that assessment.
Okay, so what are you looking for? And I'm assuming everyone's been trained on the types of damage and how to determine what it is.
Yeah, when the enhanced Fujita scale came about over a decade ago, it really allowed meteorologists to look at what we call our damage indicators. So what are things that we might encounter while in the field that are very common? So types of trees, types of construction, types of sheds, commercial buildings, and then from that, we're able to look at a degree of damage. So how much damage was there, and also look at the building characteristics. Was it a poorly built facility? Was it built beyond code? And then from there, we have a slider bar where we can then kind of fine tune that wind to come up with that final enhanced Fujita assessment.
How do you distinguish what has been caused by a tornado versus what has been caused by straight line winds?
What we like to look for when it comes to a microburst is a broad area of damage over a shorter distance. But if it's tornado, the damage is going to be a longer but narrow path of damage. So there are different clues that are out there.
Have you ever come across anything that was really surprising or shocking?
On occasion, we'll have to survey EF3 tornadoes. I mean, the climatology for those bigger tornadoes is usually farther west than this part of the country. But just seeing 2x4s impaled into trees or going through homes, it really opens your eyes as to the extent of just the type of damage that these things can cause, overturning boats off of racks and flipping RVs.
And Stephen also talked about how they ensure consistency in surveying storm damage across the 122 National Weather Service forecast offices. To see that longer version of the interview you just saw, log onto YouTube and search the National Weather Desk. Damaged homes and businesses are all that's left in some parts of several southern states. Storm chasers were counting down the hours before the storms actually touched the ground. Chelsea Torres spoke to a storm chaser from San Antonio, Texas, about what it's like following the storms and how he handles going from documenting the destruction to helping save lives.
It is a catastrophe out here.
We saw it for days, and we knew it was going to happen. We just didn't know where.
Since 2017, Kerrville native Adonis Lee has been chasing storms.
We tracked it all the way back from central Louisiana until it crossed the Mississippi, and then it turned on the lights and just went bonkers.
Lee and the Texas Vortex Storm Chase team saw destruction firsthand in Silver City, Rolling Fork, and Amory, Mississippi. Small towns hit with the wrath of tornadoes.
You could hear the roar of the tornado as you got closer to it, and you knew right then, especially when you saw the power flashes, you knew it was a big tornado.
One of the worst cases of destruction Lee has ever seen.
I saw a couple of slabs completely wiped off of the foundation.
People's lives now in turmoil. Immediately in survival mode, Lee's storm chasing team scoured block after block. He said one home had 12 people who needed to be rescued.
The first 3 houses, it was an elderly lady and her daughter. That was 2 people. The second house was her dad and his daughter. That was 4 people. And then the 12 people after that, so you can add up 16.
When Lee was talking to us, he was at the border of Texas and Arkansas, but plans on going back to Mississippi later in the week, fully expecting recovery to be completely heartbreaking.
I wouldn't be surprised if, we're still finding people 2 or 3 days later.
And last week, large portions of the United States were treated to a very rare sight of the Northern Lights. The incredible display pushed as far south as Arizona. So why was it so visible? And what are the chances we could see it again so far? Preston Danyan has the answers.
The Northern Lights in the North State? Believe it or not, it happened. With such an incredible display pushing as far south as Arizona, I was curious about what led to the remarkable show and if more spectacular nights were on the way. One place that sees the Northern Lights more frequently is Schrader Planetarium, so I visited Shasta County Office of Education Director of Science Nathan Fairchild right under the dome.
And what's happened is the sun puts out a solar wind, and that solar wind is coming down and hitting all the planets in the solar system, and Earth being one of them. And it's hitting really fast right now. They're coming in at incredible speeds, and so instead of sticking to the north, it's penetrating deeper, and we're able to see it further south.
And while we are typically on the outside looking in when it comes to the Northern Lights, this might not be our last chance in the coming days or years.
When we look at the solar cycle, they're on about 11-year cycles, and we are ramping up right now for a solar maximum in 2025. But there also right now apparently are some holes in the atmosphere of the sun. So it's funny to think about the sun having an atmosphere, but it does. And when you get holes in that, just like any hole, things go faster through them. So the particles are coming faster because of that. So yeah, we could see even better, but those holes are also a part of it. So with these 2 variables, it's hard to predict, but I'm going to be watching the skies.
Yeah. And if you do go out seeking the aurora, remember to get out to those dark skies by getting away from city lights, look north, and take photos with long exposure to capture the magic that's invisible with the naked eye.
Well, much of the country has seen a lot of rain recently, leading to some really great rainbows. But it's not just rainbows that form in the rain. Fog bows can also make an appearance. For more, we turn to Charleston meteorologist Cheriston Clark.
Fog bows, also known as white rainbows, ghost rainbows, or cloud bows. And I'll tell you why they're typically called like ghost rainbows and white rainbows. So this picture was sent to me by one of our other meteorologists, a great friend of mine, Sonia Stevens. And right there, you can see the fog bow developing. So fog bows actually have pretty much the same formation as rainbows. You've got that sunlight hitting that moisture in the air at just the right angle. So let's talk about the formation of rainbows first. Beautiful rainbows like this one pictured here occur when the air is filled with those larger raindrops, and you'll always see them in the opposite direction of the sun. But fog bows are just a tad bit different. Sure, they're just like rainbows and always opposite of the sun, but they're caused by smaller water droplets in that fog or a cloud rather than the larger water droplets you'll find in a rainbow. So remember how I said that those fog bows are also called ghost rainbows and white rainbows and cloud bows, and that's because they actually are lighter and weaker in color due to those smaller water droplets. So that's why you can barely see that.
And if you want to see more content like this, head over to our Instagram account where we post the latest from our 200 meteorologists across the country. Just search the National Weather Desk and give us a follow while you're there. Time now for a short break, but as we go, we have an aerial view of some sheepdogs hard at work there.
Well, a very good Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael. Take a look at your weather story across the Midwest. Things are kind of quiet and light for us for the day today. It's going to be rather chilly for a lot of us. We got some 50s to the south there, but all in all, it's going to be kind of a cool day across the Midwest. A few more showers sneaking their way over towards the Great Lakes heading into your Wednesday tomorrow. And as we continue on into your Thursday, got a few showers to the north there. Some snow to the far north, a little rain in Iowa and whatnot, but all in all, not bad.
Well, good Tuesday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Chris Suchan. Look at our forecast across the region and starting off with a few showers of storms. South Texas, east on I-10 into New Orleans with a little bit of a stormy start to the day. Otherwise, it's windy. It's a cool day behind a cold front. 50s, 60s, and 70s for high temperatures. Notice Wednesday, a lot of cloudiness, cool temperatures, central part of Texas. Highs in the 60s across Arkansas, Louisiana, 70s in West Texas.
Well, hi there and a good Tuesday morning to everybody. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Another big storm moving toward the west coast. It will result in warm but gusty conditions today around Seattle, and the wet weather starting to steer back toward the Bay Area as we head into the middle of the week. 53 out of Denver. Look at that 80 out of Phoenix. But again, this next weather maker, big deep area of low pressure, winds for the Pacific Northwest. Ultimately, some heavy rain moving into central California over the next 48 hours. And that's the scene from here.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Through this week, shortly after sunset, you'll be able to catch multiple planets lined up in the night sky. For many, tonight will be the best time to see them. Meteorologist Nick Stewart shows us where to look and why some headlines you are reading right now online may be inaccurate.
Late this month, the way the planets are aligning in their orbit around the sun, putting on a pretty cool show in the night sky. Let's take a look at what it looks like from the surface of the Earth going forward. All the planets lining up, looking off to the west and southwest. You'll see Mercury very close to the horizon, also very bright. Just above that, Jupiter, Venus, of course, a very bright planet, a little bit above the horizon. And if you look right above your head, you will see the planet Mars, a bit more of a reddish in color. Now, we may have seen a lot of headlines referencing 5 visible planets, Uranus, also nearby Venus. However, in order to really see it, you need a big pair of binoculars or a very strong telescope. Therefore, we'll just call it 4 visible planets. In Cedar Rapids, Iowa, I'm meteorologist Nick Stewart reporting.
And we'd love to connect with you. You can find us on all of your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Just search the National Weather Desk, and we will be right back. Thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow on the National Weather Desk, we'll head to Charleston, South Carolina, and find out why tracking dolphins can help us understand what's happening in our oceans. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great Tuesday, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Hey, captioning, can you hear me? We're about to tape another National Weather Desk show in a couple minutes. I just want to make sure that you're there and we can continue moving forward with captioning. Right now on the National Weather Desk, what you know what to do if a tornado threatens